Back More Angel. This is episode 10 of season 5. Very excited as always to see what's going to happen next. Getting close to halfway through the final season, which is insane. But yeah, last episode we had like a Harmony-centric one, a bit of a mystery with what was going on with her. But it was a cool kind of breather episode, I feel like, and I liked the focus on Harmony and seeing, you know, how things were with her, checking in. Because things had gotten a bit crazy leading up to that point, with some drama with Wesley, some drama with Spike and Angel and all of that, the Shanshui kind of things, and shady business. Lindsay was obviously back in the picture as well. So when's that going to be revisited? Is that going to be in this episode? Is that going to be, you know, second half of the season? Who can say? Well, you can say. You've seen it. But I can't. But yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to happen next. So let's just dive into the next one. Oh, this again.
All your life's been a lie. Everything you've done.
Well, maybe the past couple of years, not his whole life. Is this a dream or something? Because that seems a bit more holy than Mountain Dew. Oh! 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 Pleasant.
Yeah. Thanks. But,
oh.
Not really my type, Harry. So be a good lad.
I suppose you wouldn't recognise him, would you?
Spike.
Yeah.
Interesting mail lately?
Huh.
You can call me Doyle. It's not what I want. It's what you want.
You do not use that name in vain, sir.
So are we doing this because it's right? Or because it's cost effective?
Both is good.
A little of both, actually.
Yes, oddly, once again, we found ourselves in a bit of a grey
Don't
area.
say that.
Yeah. It's your specialty.
Explain it to me.
Oh, he directed this.
I've heard enough.
Has he done that before?
I want to know why I get really violent when I'm being played. It's you.
And when he's not.
So I'm supposed to jump every time you get a vision of someone in dire peril? Why do you think we're having this conversation?
They're giving Spike, like, the season 1 formula storyline.
Thank you. That thing was gonna kill me.
Well, what do you expect? Out alone in this neighborhood? I got half a mind to kill you myself, you half-wit. I mean,
well.
honestly.
You just helped the person when I wasn't anything in it for you. That's not like the Spike I know.
Oh, is that right? And what Spike is that?
Spike that's only out for himself. Who only does good deeds to impress women.
You best watch.
I'm just saying.
Not entirely wrong.
Good. Your Angel didn't save the girl on his first mission.
What's Angel got to do with this?
No, he didn't.
No?
But then he kicked the vampire out of the window and it was really cool. But you'd know that because you were there. He never has good dreams, does he? Oh.
What?
Warlocks, minions. They're all evil. Are you alright?
No. But when's he ever? Shenanigans are happening.
You are irrelevant.
Have you already passed out?
What are you?
Oh, I was hoping they'd have that. Yes. So many pilot references. He's got the big long coat as well that Angel doesn't wear that much anymore.
Who are you?
I'm Batman.
That's the spirit. Solving problems by throwing money at them. You're starting to get the hang of this job.
Look who it is.
I think something's wrong.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay, don't worry.
Is this a dream again,
I know
though?
what to do.
I trust nothing. Uh-oh. Oh, you're in for a bad time, pal.
Stop.
Oh, God.
Your liver?
This is the worst game of Operation I've ever seen. It's that fucking Mary Poppins bag in there. Oh,
Came up the Gulf Stream, huh?
is that a Jaws reference?
Thank you, Bear.
Am I drunk?
There's nothing left. Just a shell.
Yes, your purpose is gone, apparently.
Hello? Hello?
Oh. What a fun little transition. Shame it was gross.
You go invite me in.
It's not my place. It's yours. Building's quiet.
Oh, well, that's nice.
I'm offering you a place to hang your hat. Or your coat. Could say thank you.
Wherever I lay my hat.
You call that a bed?
Well, it's not like you're gonna be sharing it with anyone anytime soon.
Alright.
Spike.
Excuse me.
Keep it down, mate.
Every time I say the word prompt, you get grouchy.
Buffy.
Yep, that's definitely Buffy. 100% definitely authentic Buffy. Yeah. They've got her back.
Hey, guys. Oh, you're missing.
It's what?
I don't know. I can't trust anything. It's all just a dream. What the fuck is that? This is such a happy scene for Buffyverse. It makes me physically uncomfortable. God. They're gonna burst into song.
Beautiful, isn't it? The living end. And now, it's time for your reward.
Yes, your reward.
Well, I didn't do this for a reward.
Wesley's hosting a game show.
Anyone who saves the universe from eternal bloodshed, horror, and misery deserves to.
Okay, they were high when they wrote this one. Yeah, when I thought someone get their soul back or whatever, or become human again, I wasn't expecting Pinocchio references.
Beating again.
Oh, are you the mailman? Where's your wrestling mask? He looks so sad. I can't even see his face.
If you want to save the world, we've got the resources to help you do it.
No offense, Mr. Vader, but I've got no itch to join the evil empire. It's different. You know it. A place like that doesn't change. Not from the inside, not from the out.
Plus, if he can just be his own little hero, just have to work with Angel.
They don't have a clue what's happening, do they? I mean, he hasn't sewn a big red S on his chest yet, but he's getting there.
Gets to be his own hero, impress Buffy.
They'll never know it's you.
Sure.
Not while you have these pretty pictures.
Oh, is it like a disguisey thing?
Good girls always get what they want.
Then she should get nothing.
Maybe we should call him, check in, act like we care. Good plan.
Oh, around these folks.
God, the moustache.
Why don't you give me an earful of them pretty pipes of yours? Let me suss it out.
God.
I told you he was empty.
Yes, but this is ridiculous.
Oh.
The crowd's turning on you, sport.
You poor thing.
So sticky. Kill it. Oh, yeah.
I'm not here, Angel. You're dreaming.
Oh, is this real and she's
Don't
gonna
worry.
keep up that it's a dream? Another one? Oh, that's bigger. That is vile. Like, well done, whoever made that. Also, how dare you? What's that sucking on? Yeet.
Keeping tabs.
Didn't Doyle even like have a jacket like that and everything?
Kind of what I do.
Rude.
Well,
Oh, does he pretend to get a vision?
I just had another vision.
oh, great.
Yeah. Finally, inner peace.
Time to let freedom ring. Let yourself go.
But I'm not finished. You are if you want to be.
We'll be fine.
I think he does want to be, but
Great, actually.
he'd still keep fighting anyway. Okay, that makes sense.
Just helping the helpless.
If if this parasite continued pumping its toxins into Angel.
He would have been stuck in a permanent vegetative state.
Lovely.
Well, good thing Spike swooped in and saved the day. How did you even know you were in trouble?
Yeah, it's not going to help him feel good about himself.
Change your clothes.
Yeah, I do that sometimes, after a long day.
But you didn't change your earrings. You were wearing those in my hallucination. Except, I haven't seen you for days.
You did change your clothes, Eve. And
Yes, believe him.
For today.
Playing your own game here? What do you think the partners will do to you after they find out about your little extracurricular activities?
So things aren't going your way, and you're looking for someone outside your little circle to blame.
Things aren't going your way, the bitch.
Maybe you should try looking inward. Unless you don't like what you see.
Well, okay, pretty good episode overall, and yeah, it was cool to get some more focus on the Lindsay stuff now that he's probably back. You know, really involved in the plot and advancing things with Spike, stuff like that. Just, we're getting a bit more of a glimpse and a bit more of an idea, I think, of, you know, what a big threat for this season will be, especially because that last scene with Angel and everyone kind of getting suspicious of Eve, which I liked. I'm glad they didn't do, you know, I think the easy thing of the rest of the group just being like, well, Angel's having hallucinations and stuff like that. Clearly, he must be crazy, suspecting Eve and everything. They were kind of like, you know, it kind of, there is a sense to it. You have changed your clothes, etc. So that was really nice to see them actually be a team at the end there. And now that there is that suspicion, what is Eve going to do next? How is she going to conduct herself when she's at Wolfram and Hart? And then now she's under threat of, you know, Angel potentially 10 the senior partners. She's going to have to be extra careful if she wants to get anything done. But maybe Lindsay will be like Thanos and go, fine, I'll do it myself. And really get involved in things, not just on the Spike end of that, but maybe some behind the scenes stuff. If he can be like hidden from detection from them because of his tattoo phase, then maybe he can get involved in that somehow. I'm not quite sure, you know, what has spurred Lindsay on to decide now after a few years to be like, you know what, fuck Angel, let's ruin things. I imagine he's got a lot to gain from it, and that's going to be something that they explore. But even right now, you know, Angel isn't aware that Lindsay is the one kind of working with Eve and is behind a lot of this stuff. So yeah, and even on top of that, he's pretending to be Doyle, which seems odd. I mean, first of all, how dare you, Lindsay? I do have a question. How dare you? Because I just feel like any kind of thought to that, or once it gets to Angel, that's just going to fall completely apart. So I don't know why he needed to pretend to be Doyle or whatever. Surely he could just pretend to be anyone who got the visions. Because I don't think he did a pretty damn good job of acting all pain from the visions anyway. I mean, not much of a performance, Lindsay, please. Commit to it. But it is interesting. I'm guessing it's more so maybe a vindictive side that it will get at Angel if he thinks it is Doyle for some reason, even though he should probably immediately disregard that. But I imagine that's kind of where they're going for. He's trying to effectively kind of get at Angel on an emotional level with that, like a little sick burn or whatever. And him and Eve were talking about you know, bigging up Spike to be this hero, try and maybe make the senior partners think they're backing the wrong horse, so maybe they just want Angel to lose the firm, and do they want it for themselves, or exactly what's going on with that? I know we're not supposed to, I think, understand what happened to Lindsay in the years since we'd seen him, and why he's suddenly doing this now, but I'm sure we'll get that explained at some point. But I'm still waiting to probably understand that before I get really invested in the story. So we'll see what happens, but it was cool to get a bit more of him actively involved in things. I thought if you're going to go for anyone in the group, I guess it makes sense to target Spike, because he's still kind of the outsider. He's not really firm friends with anyone in the main group, maybe Fred being the exception. But I guess he's the easy target, and you know, if you're going to target him, you have the vampire with the soul prophecy right there that you can exploit. So that makes a lot of sense. I did enjoy seeing that and kind of putting Spike through the same arc of Angel in season 1. Just seeing him, you know, help the helpless in the way that Angel did in those first few episodes, getting visions from his Doyle, then going around with the cool spikes in the sleeves. That's it. I was about to say collar, but that was the wrong word. Sleeves, which I've always thought very cool and underused. So it was cool to see them back. There's a lot of like references to the pilot in this one, which I enjoyed, and the fact that it was directed by David himself. Also, it's quite nice that clearly he's put some attention and thought into that. If he's recreating those shots from the pilot and making references to that, he's clearly like rewatched it and like trying to purposefully do that. So I actually think that's quite wholesome in a way. A nice tribute to the history of the show. So to see them try and force Spike into becoming this hero, probably again because, you know, it gives Spike some kind of feeling of self-worth. It's something that he could brag about to Buffy if he ever does go after her, decides to. Because he was talking to Harmony in the last episode, you know, he hasn't gone to find Buffy yet, 'cause it's like, well, what if it just loses all meaning now? My sacrifice at the end of Buffy season 7, it's not really worth anything if I just come back like 3 weeks later. But if he's like, I'm back and I've been doing this, and not with just the sole intention of impressing you, because that is, I guess, what some of Spike's redemption did come from. It was he wanted to please Buffy. It wasn't just doing it because it was the right thing to do, which is interesting. And I think that is one of the differences between Angel and Spike and their kind of quest for redemption. So then exploring that idea of Spike inhabiting season 1 Angel's shoes, and then they're trying to mould him into that figure to maybe get the powers that be to back him and, you know, manipulate the prophecy happening now. I actually think that's a really cool plan for like the villains to have. I just want to make sure we are clear on how Lindsay got to wanting to do that plan in the first place and how he met Eve and everything. But those are the answers we're going to get. So I'm excited to see what the big goal is with that, especially with Eve kind of causing some suspicion. It was a neat idea, I think, to try and manipulate the whole hallucination dream thing and pretend that it was a dream even though she was actually there, and all that weird squelchy demony thing. Gross. Really good design, very cool. Absolutely vile. And there were quite a few nice set pieces like that in this one, really, like with Fred cutting open Angel's chest and stuff. You know, some kind of disturbing images. Like Angel went through it in this episode, poor guy. But I like that it's another example of Angel being pained by dreams, I guess, experiencing that. He had that with Darla in early season 2. And we had him kind of dreaming about this perfect life and situation to make him angelus again last season. And now we've got this. It's an interesting idea that, you know, often you compare like dreams and nightmares. You know, you want to have dreams, you don't want to have the nightmares, but they really do blend together with Angel, and dreams are very much a weapon to use against Angel a lot of the time, so even that's not safe for him. So that's kind of a very isolating thing for him. He doesn't really have an escape from anything, and yet he'll still choose to just fight the good fight, because that's what he's done for like 5 seasons at this point. So I thought that was interesting, and even they had that kind of example in one of his dreams when it was all that idyllic and, you know, all this lovely pastoral imagery around him on the little couch, which looked very comfy. I'd have stayed, and everyone was there like, you know, you can stay here for as long as you like, maybe even forever. But Angel is very much aware that he needs to fight the fight, there's work to be done, so he's not going to relax. Even if he's not the one the prophecy speaks about, you know, he is still going to fight to the very end of his existence, whenever and wherever that may be. Even if he never becomes human again, he'll still try to, you know, fight as best he can. Whereas Spike was only interested in fighting the good fight once, you know, he thought, oh, maybe I am going to have this cool destiny and this is all involved around me and I'm the centre of this. Not that's necessarily a bad thing, because that's just Spike's character. I'm not trying to shit on him or anything. but I think that is kind of a big difference between the two of them, which makes it an interesting debate that is playing on Angel's mind, I guess. The fact that Spike did win that battle, when it came down to it, Spike did kind of want it more, I guess. They have different reasons for wanting it, I would say, and different reasons for fighting the fight in the first place to kind of get that cup and everything a few episodes back. But Spike was the one to have gotten it. And we saw that Angel did struggle with that at the end of that episode, so to see them revisit that and it be exploited and used against him was interesting. The idea that he's just empty. If the Shanshu prophecy isn't about him, what does he have? What is he fighting for? He's just completely empty and useless inside, and he's the mailman, whereas Spike is this celebrated hero of Wolfram and Hart and everything. I like that idea, and I think that is, one of the highlights of Angel's character, that even if he did get in that state, he would still just carry on and, fight as best he could. So I thought it was interesting them exploring that. And it was cool to see David Boreanaz directed this episode. I don't know if he's directed one before. If he has, I haven't noticed, because I normally try and train myself to not look at the titles coming up at the bottom of the screen in case it gives away anyone who's going to be in it. But I just saw it, I was like, I'm pretty sure that says David Boreanaz, and then I checked, and I was like, he directed it. So that was neat. And I didn't even think that the opening shot, I think, when it was like panning around Angel and then the reveal of Spike next to the cover, I was like, that's a really cool bit of camera movement. And little did I know it was David doing that. Well, not. I imagine he didn't do that himself. The cameraman did it, but still. So I liked all of that. Exploring the idea of grey areas, the fact that Angel absolutely despises that phrase and they use it seemingly all the time. It is cool that they're really putting the themes of the show and the actions that the characters kind of undertake under a microscope in such a way, particularly when it's we know in the meta, it's the last season. It's quite cool that they're properly testing that, and like how much good are Wolfram and Hart really doing, even if they're trying to make it good from the inside. Is that even going to work? Are they better off just doing what Angel used to do way back when, and having those directly contrasts in the same episode? I thought was quite neat, using Spike with that, going back to the help the helpless thing, and also exploring the fact that maybe Angel is just helpless at this point if he doesn't have the prophecy. Is there any point to him? Which I think's very sad in a way, if that's all Angel really has. Because you would think, well, I have Buffy. There's always going to be Buffy. And then they have that other dream where Spike's sleeping with her right next to Angel, which was something I could have done without that scene, I must say. As great as it was to hear Sarah Michelle Gellar's voice, you could just tell they'd like copy and pasted it from a Buffy episode, and the double, it was so obviously not Buffy. It was just a bit like, I don't know. I feel like they probably could have just done something else with that. But it's fine. It was a brief little scene. So regardless, it was like maybe is he even not going to have that because of how Spike and Buffy left things at the end of that show, and if Buffy ever reunites with Spike in some way, finds out he's alive. So they did some cool things exploring the grey area, and Wesley almost getting a bit excited about, we found like a little grey area, whereas Angel's just sick of it. Because I think Wesley's learned to love the grey area after season 3 and 4. So it makes sense for him to kind of be in that kind of place. I also liked that him and Gunn had a lot of scenes together. Like they were investigating Spike together, and it's just nice to see those two getting on so well again. Getting on so well, maybe he's pushing it, but getting along for sure. So that was all very well and good, and Lindsay's manipulation of Spike to an extent makes him think Wolfram and Hart just isn't worth it. I can make a difference on my own. I'm getting a nice apartment out of it. I can feel good about myself because of it. This is something that could get me brownie points with Buffy if I keep doing this. So I thought it's just an interesting idea to actively make kind of a plot point in an episode of Angel. Like the development of the show itself is now a plot point. The fact that that's how Angel used to do things, that's how the formula was, this is how it is now. Actually kind of comparing and contrasting those. I think that's a really fun idea. because basically every TV show ever goes through some sort of evolution. They will change things up. They will find their feet. You know, they will get rid of characters. They'll bring characters back. They'll do different plot lines, etc. You know, that's just how it works. But I don't think many will go as meta as to actually make it a plot point that the show's changed so much. So I thought that was quite fun. And then what else do we have to talk about? I mean, we've already talked a bit about Eve, but I'm just like, ugh. It's weird with Eve. I want to know more about her, but I also don't care to know more about her. I'm just like, she's just there. But still, I think if we get a bit more of her backstory, exactly why she's like working with Lindsay, why she's risking, you know, going against the senior partners, doing her own little thing, exactly what makes her tick. Maybe there'll be a bit more to her, but right now I'm just like, yeah, I knew she was evil. I knew she was, you know, doing some shady stuff. Now everyone else does. I think the fact that there is some suspicion on her now maybe will make her a bit more interesting to me. But I'm just like, I don't know. I want a bit more meat on the bones, I guess, of the character. But we'll see what happens. And I did like her trying to pass off putting that parasite-y thing on him as just yet another wacky dream, of which there were a lot. Very Inception-y, like, oh, is this a dream? Is this a dream? Not trusting anything. I have trust issues with dreams in the Buffyverse after, you know, being burned so many times. So that was quite fun. I feel like maybe there were too many sequences like that for my taste. I would have liked a bit more present day stuff. But it wasn't, you know, terrible. They did have some fun stuff with it. But like the scene with them celebrating Spike and being all crazy and cheery, like that was very uncomfortable. And like, oh my god, like it's so weird to see them acting like this and to see where's the like game show host voice. But I also feel like maybe it went on a bit too long. But there's some cool imagery with it, that's for sure. I do think it was an interesting kind of visual journey, this episode, and doing so many wacky sequences like that. Definitely makes it kind of set apart a bit. But I also feel like we had a very different wacky episode with the Harmony one, the last one. So I don't know, maybe that was a purposeful choice, or maybe you could have benefited from this having an episode in between those two or something, I don't know. But yeah, I really enjoyed getting some kind of craziness from it and seeing what it was about. So yeah, it was quite the ride for poor Angel, basically, but a very interesting insight into how the show has changed and grown. It was cool to see Lindsay properly get involved in stuff, and I'm waiting to see exactly what his motivations are, what Eve's motivations are, before I think, well, does this plan properly make sense? Is this a good idea? So I don't know, outside of just getting Angel by calling himself Doyle or whatever, I don't really know what he has to gain from pretending to be that right now. He could just pretend to be anyone who messages the powers that be. Because no matter who you pretend to be, if you do pretend to be Doyle, Spike doesn't really know much about him, I would assume. So it's not going to add much credence to proceedings. So yeah, I just need to learn a bit more about that. But answers are obviously going to come. So it's not like I'm holding it against the episode just yet. It's more so just a wait and see what they're doing with it, and trying to justify Lindsay showing up again and what he's doing and stuff. But we've got a few answers, like whatever the tattoos and markings he's got is somehow keeping him under the radar from Wolfram and Hart, that's why it's not been detected, so I thought that was quite neat. The suspicions on Eve could point her character in a bit more of an interesting direction if there's a bit more pressure on her, and it's not just, oh, everything's going swimmingly well, and what her connection to Lindsay is. I liked the Spike stuff a lot, kind of giving him Angel Season 1 kind of story arc, saving the girl, helping the helpless, succeeding where Angel failed to save that first girl. You know, the idea that without the prophecy, what is Angel? You know, does he have anything going for him? What, you know, his friends may think of him when his back is turned. Everyone booing him in that scene with Lorne playing the piano and Gunn going... That, again, there was wackiness, and I felt like it's a bit weird. Like the Buffy scene, Gunn going was a I don't know, a bit comical. Maybe it's because I often go at characters and I just relate that to being a bit more humorous. But that was like a bit strange. But yeah, overall, a really solid episode. I look forward to seeing where some of these ideas may be taken, what answers we're going to get about them soon enough, especially because we are at like the halfway point of the season, basically. I'm hoping we really lay in some more groundwork on the whole Lindsay situation, and it's just kind of, you know, combating him and dealing with him for maybe the second half. I don't know how long Lindsay's going to be around for. I don't know if it's just like a middle of the season thing. Then they found out they were getting cancelled and they just wrap it up for a few episodes or whatever. I don't know structurally what they're going to do with it, but yeah, I'm excited to see where it will go next. But yeah, I think that's basically everything I want to talk about, but another really good episode. Next cycle will be episode 11 and 12, so I think episode 12 is the 100th episode of Angel. I assume they'll do something special-ish, maybe. I mean, you know, like Buffy, they killed Buffy off, but that was the end of a season, so, you know, they could do something super crazy like that. And Angel's already dead, really. I don't know how much weight it would hold to kill Angel. But maybe they'll celebrate it, maybe it's just going to be another episode, I'm not quite sure. You know, like, even with Buffy, it wasn't like, this is a 100th episode, we're bringing back all these past characters and these storylines we're referencing. It was just, we have a storyline to wrap up and we're going to kill our titular character. So either way, I'm excited to get to that point and celebrate Angel's 100th episode, even though that will then mean I think there's only 10 episodes left after that, which is depressing as hell. But I'm excited to see what they do with it. Maybe there'll be a few little references in there, especially because, you know, we have someone pretending to be Doyle. Maybe if they find out about that, they can reflect on him, and that'd be a nice little reference to look how things were when this started. And, you know, they had references to the pilot and stuff with Spike's whole storyline in this episode, so maybe that's going to be where they take this route, is kind of leading into some wink wink nod on references in the 100th episode or something, which would be a cool setup. But yeah, either way, it's going to be a nice little landmark to reach, to know that I've watched 100 episodes of Angel. That'll be at least 500 hours worth of editing and watching and copyright sorting that I would have put into Angel at that point. So that's kind of nuts to know how much of my life I've dedicated to just this one show. But what a show to dedicate it to. I'm excited to see, you know, if that is even going to be a thing. Watching me talk out my arse now, it's just like a Harmony-centric episode again. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but we've just had one. I'm okay with the break. But yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to happen with all these different things. But good episode overall, and until my next reaction, thanks for watching.